Hey, welcome back, everybody. In this edition, I will be going over how to search the tax record for using Garden State MLS, as well as looking at the flood map. If you have multiple MLSs, in my opinion, and this is just from my own personal experience, like let's say you're familiar with using Central Jersey MLS and you're just watching this video, you have both MLSs. Even though like I started out in this business using Central Jersey MLS, I find that Realist, which is the access to the tax records and flood map that is primarily used in Central Jersey, I think that it's actually superior. But you can always use this tax map as well. It's still good. It's just that the flood map can be a little bit slower to upload, but all the search criteria and stuff like that is the same on using both platforms. So I'll just show you how to access it. So at the top, you should be familiar with the MLS at this point. You go to search and go ahead and click the tax maps. Just bear with me one moment. There we go. Cool. So now we're on the tax map. It might prompt you to use the new site. Both are going to be very, very easy to use. This is the point in which you can actually look up the different properties in New Jersey and the tax record associated with it. I'm just going to go ahead and use, and like you could search in different counties, but I'm just going to search for a property that I have in Middlesex County that I use as an example for a lot of these videos. It's 23 Gold Street in Edison, New Jersey, and that's my mistake for filling that out. It's just 23 Gold Street. Municipality, county are to the left of it. So I'm going to select Edison. And here we go. It has all the tax information. So owner's name, it'll show the current owner's name for the property. This actually hasn't been updated. But yeah, the new buyer for the property is ABS Properties LLC. You can look. We'll first look at the property data. So it's like the lot size, the different coordinates for the property, the county, municipality, the block and lot number if you need that access to information, the owner's billing address and mailing address. This was like a secondary property to them. The characteristics, not just the lot, but the acreage, or it should have that. Year built for the property, additional lots if it has any. Class 4 code if it has that. Property class, residential. Building class, 16. So it's just all this additional information you want to get familiar with if you need. With the different tax rate, the taxes for this particular property. Select more information for like the different years. Just clicking through this stuff, you'll have access to more information, but most of the stuff that you need, like the information for the person that purchased the property and who sold the property last, and the deed in which it was recorded for the new sale and when the last sale was. All this is additional information that's on the tax record. And then let's say you want to then check to see if a property is in the flood map, which you should be doing for your clients regardless. So prior to putting in an offer, or as soon as you do get an offer accepted, that might be a little late at this point, but you definitely should check regardless if you haven't already, to make sure the property is not in the flood zone, or to see if it is in a flood zone. Go ahead and click flood map at the top. And this flood map can take a little while to load. We'll just be patient. Don't be alarmed if it doesn't pop up right away, but there we have it. Parcels that don't have any specific coloring to it like you do over here. These are all just the different modes of flood insurance that you might require, or that the different zones that it's actually in. So this particular property, taking up these two lots, is not in a flood zone. We know that because it's just it just has the yellow box around it. And definitely make sure that you're up to date with all of this stuff. But if a property was to be in a flood zone, and I'll try my best to find an area that's close to water that I think might be in a flood zone, just so you can see. So let's see. So we're by a water source here, so we should be fairly close to like a town where you're going to be in a flood zone. So let's zoom into New Brunswick since we have the Raritan. Let's see, and again, it's not perfect. It takes a little while to load, but I'm assuming that these properties are in a specific flood zone, and let's just wait. Yep. It just shows the different types of properties and if they're in like a chance flood zone, or if it's, and what the chances are for a flood zone, in that particular thing, but you have different levels. So you know that these properties right here are not in a flood zone. But as soon as it starts getting to be like colored by orange, blue, and all these other areas, that these are going to be in a flood zone. So if a property does lie in a flood zone, even if it's partially in a flood zone, like this property has most of the properties out of a flood zone, but you don't know if there's like where the house is on this lot or whatnot, definitely notify your buyers. Find out from the sellers if they require flood insurance, because they should know this information. It should be addressed on the MLS as well, but sometimes agents or sellers might forget to put that up there, and you just want to definitely check, because that'll be an additional fee for your client that could be pretty sizable to whether or not they need flood insurance, which would definitely affect the value of the property and what they're able to afford. So that's just a quick video of going over the tax record, being able to search the tax record for different properties. You could also search people by their names. You can do last name. You can search people by their lot and block. You can do a more advanced search and actually get really into detail if you have that. But most of the time, you're going to be searching by address or by the name or the lot and block number. So there you have it. Just a quick video to get you familiarized with this, and definitely play around with this and get familiar with it, because you're going to be using it quite often. Okay?